In the 60s, there was something called the anti-intellectual revolution by some people who wanted to stop going to school and tune everything out and just get good vibrations. When I came to the Tacoma Community College, pretty fine professor Brian Duchin offered a course in the 60s. Nobody wanted to take it. It wasn't because they were part of the anti-industrial revolution, anti-intellectual revolution, I should say. There was a same group of people were called the anti-industrial revolution because of the age of Aquarius and the concern about the environment. But what I meant to say was that the Tacoma Community College students didn't see themselves as anti-intellectual for not wanting to know about the past. It's a problem. Ayn Rand, topping the anti-industrial revolution, as she calls it, the anti-intellectual revolution, said we will build a smokestack to the moon. And these are the people coming to our rescue in the climate crisis with the COVID bomb. The attrition on the intellectual capacities of the United States in places like Phi Theta Kappa at Tacoma Community College because of the anti-intellectual revolution stance, which they don't even recognize to be one, is so serious that even people who I warned the poison was going on sit on their hands, frozen still. See it as a developing story. See torture as a form of performance art. A snuff film. It's allowed on campus. When I went to Marjorie Peckman, the magistrate at the U.S. District Court, I said that Nancy Moore and probably Sophie Manslow were Trump's cultural attorneys in Pittsburgh when they pulled the AIDS attack and tortured me, left me deaf, disfigured, poisoned me in the heart, made it a point to see that I never had a family. That's part of the snuff film. She denied it. She didn't care. She didn't want to see the evidence. And there are these feedback loops that get put into play by the media, on high and on the grassroots level, working together, calling super taxation of a person who lives in absolute poverty to protect the penny asset, guaranteeing them the Sotheby's black market of dark, illegal pirate films. Supposedly the spiritual purity ruled by dialectical UWism that claims a philosophy of military sociology is a magical religion, practicing karma, cold-blooded fascism with a happy end. There were protests of The Exorcist when it came out by the very people who it catered to, the people who believed in extreme military Christianity, started building their bonfires around the film. And this was working hand in glove with the Japanese pornography company that I have shown were involved with Hollywood in the AIDS attack. It's not a pretzel. It's a Mobius lie It's a Mobius deceit. And that's where the anti-intellectual revolutionaries of places like Tacoma Community College Phi Theta Kappa really earn their place. They really earn their place by ignoring the side of the Mobius deceit that you never see. They refuse to comprehend the idea of Yoyimbo Moxie, of playing the game and going along with the game while pretending to understand, while pretending to be trying to stop it. The Green Party is multicultural. It's an arc. It's not that hard to understand. Yet they hit one side and then they hit the other, and they say blacks attack white, then the whites attack blacks, and behold, we have an anarchy harmony. And it balances out. When it's one crystal baller behind both attacks. And this is supposed to be regarded as magnificent. They used me in a deviant play as a JFK toy. You know, that's what Jack Ruby had in mind, was a snuff film for sexual purposes. That's what the Beatles were carping about. There were dark warnings in the early songs of writings of Penis Gabriel. Look, for example, the words of love are lying on an empty floor just in a place where the conqueror lays. It seems irrational. But it means the words of love are empty. So the conqueror disposes of them and takes its place. For the British, the words of love of America are empty. But it is decreed by the British that the words of love of the British will mean everything to us. Bang, bang, shoot, shoot was a psycho-sadist, disgusting jab at the assassination of Kennedy wrought by Yoko Ono. And she has built her prestige in betraying us over and over again on the fascination that the Beatles brought to fascist intelligence circles and the help that they provided fascist intelligence. And so civil groups see it as in their interest to help put on this deviant play, which amounts to nothing but an extermination. And they call it tough love. By that reckoning, what Adolf Hitler did was tough love. And that's a real practical joke. To get the whole thing turned around by a Mobius deceit, to shove a meaning like that down the throats of the United States philosophical system and media in the name of something like being called Black Lives Matter. I think people who tap into the problems of Africa should acquaint themselves with the fact that not all black people are the same.